Welcome to this episode of the Conscious Business Coffee Break, where we take a few moments to explore what's happening in the conscious business movement, expand awareness, and encourage your efforts in conscious business. Greetings, everyone. My name is Stephen Donaco of the Conscious Business Enterprise, a division of humanities team. And on today's program, the conscious choices for dealing with unproductive meetings. And the catalyst for this topic was an article I came across in Industry Leaders magazine online, which is titled "Just Walk Out of Unproductive Meetings." Elon Musk is quoted as saying this in an interview, and the basis for the article was the MIT Sloan Management Review finding that the number of meetings attended by the average employee doubled between the 1960s and the 1980s. According to some estimates, senior managers attend nearly 23 hours of meetings every week, while an average employee spends approximately 6 hours per week in scheduled meetings, with supervisors spending more time than non-supervisors in meetings. And as somebody who's been a manager, I could tell you for sure, in my management role, I spent a lot of time, probably most of my time, in meetings. And those meetings could be tedious, drudgery, boring as all heck, and often not productive, frankly. So Elon Musk is onto something with this, and I think everybody gets this. So this isn't a big secret. The only secret being that we may not be speaking up about it. So here, we have an industry leader telling us that, frankly, this is not a conscious way to be leading our organizations. So in the article, it presents common solutions to make meetings more productive. And I relate to these because of my own management experience. I did my best to abide by these solutions, and one was to establish a clear agenda. So to tell people what you're going to talk about, what your intention is. Start the meetings on time, and I would add to that, end the meetings on time. Be really conscious about honoring people's time. And I could say, unfortunately, the majority of meetings that I've been in and continue to be in the work I do today, they tend to go over. And so it's a reminder to me as somebody who's a meeting organizer that if I'm leading a meeting, to be really diligent about starting and ending on time, so that I'm honoring my time and other people's time. And then the other solution to making meetings more productive is don't end the meeting without a clear agreement on the next steps. Right? So, what's the outcome? What are we going to do from here forward? That kind of thing. All right. So here's where it gets a little bit more controversial in that article. So, have you ever considered walking out of a meeting if you believe you aren't adding value? All right. Good question. Elon Musk says to walk out of a meeting or drop off a call as soon as it's obvious you aren't adding value. It's not rude to leave, it's rude to make someone stay and waste their time. Okay, so great. I think that's a fantasy we all can relate to. Is say, this meeting isn't doing it for me, I'm out of here. Now, the twist to that is that you're not contributing to collaboration either. So it might be altogether accurate that you're not adding value and that your presence is not needed, but to simply walk out and leave doesn't really communicate that you're very much of a team player either. And so somebody like Elon Musk is the head of that company, Tesla, right? So people like that, like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, any of these captains of industry, so to speak, they can be brash. I mean, they're basically, with all due respect, they're divas and they're rock stars in business. So if Elon Musk walks into a meeting and says, "I'm not adding value here," and just walks out, who's going to challenge that, right? So, but if any of us do that, so if we're at a medium level in an organization, and let's put ourselves in this situation. Say you have a meeting with Elon Musk, and you decide, I'm not adding value here. I'm walking out. Now, if he's enlightened, uh, he may respect you for that. However, you do that at your own risk. You turn the tables at your own risk, because if that leader uh, takes that as an insult, that could be the end of your job, or even at the end of your career, right? Because of the influence these people have. So my challenge in response to this article, in response to the brash notions of someone like Elon Musk, is what are the evolved approaches to addressing unproductive meetings, right? So if you're going to walk out, well, say why you're walking out. It's not simply enough to say, walk out, I'm not adding value, and that's it, but just be really clear about it. And say, hey, folks, I don't feel my presence is needed here. I don't feel I'm adding value here. I'm going to do something else where my time is better spent. So that would be a more evolved approach than simply to walk out and leave people wondering, well, where the heck is he going? Even better would be to ask what value the meeting organizers and the others in the meeting expect from you, right? So if you feel like you're not adding value to a meeting, you might interrupt and say, let me put this on pause, and I'm just curious, what value do you expect from me, right? Because in this way, we're opening channels of communication two-way, and again, you're not being a diva, and you are being collaborative by stating your need to know why you're here in the room. And then even a better evolved approach would be to contribute to your organization's meeting culture, to lead by example, and to invite dialogue about doing meetings mindfully. So you might set an example in a specific meeting, say, I'm not adding value, or would you tell me what value you're expecting from me? That's one thing, but that's like a once and done. So if this is a problem, if this is a chronic problem in your organization, can you contribute to improving the culture of meetings, and start to have dialogues with people about how do we change, how do we transform, how do we evolve ourselves into being more productive, more collaborative, optimizing the time that we all put in to meetings, and even to question if meetings are necessary all the time, right? So I'll put a link to this article in the comments to the video. And then I'm going to support this with another article, which is titled, Berkeley Professor Explains Why Society Needs More Troublemakers. And this really is about the consciousness of dissent, and that disagreement actually improves group thinking. Now, this isn't conflict. Okay, so we're looking at a disagreement. Let's reframe it in terms of challenging, or making an inquiry as to why are we doing things the way we're doing them? Why are decisions being made the way they're being made? Is there a better way we can do this? And rather than just go with the flow or go with the status quo, if we're able to speak up and challenge what's happening and inquire as to how we can do it better, that kind of inquiry improves group thinking. It generates necessary consideration and debate, and then our dissent, provided that that dissent is authentic and not just for the sake of causing argument, or for the sake of being a diva or being egoic, but if our dissent is authentic, it will stimulate people more broadly and deeply. Our groups will perform better, and we ourselves will gain more clarity. So that's another article that I'll put a link to in the comments to the video. So in the meantime, take all of that away with you, and just sit with it, ponder it, and take some action on it if you feel so moved. So thanks for tuning in. We are on again on Friday at 9 a.m. U.S. Central Time for another edition of the Conscious Business Coffee Break. Until then, have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you soon.